In today's episode, we are going to be making 5 beautiful farmhouse DIYs that all come from Dollar Tree supplies. I want to thank you all so much for being here today and clicking on this video. It means so much to me that you're joining me here in my craft room. All right, now let's get crafting. For this DIY, we are going to be taking 2 of these wire football wreath forms, one of these galvanized, I almost call them bottle cap, large metal plaques, some of these wood finials. I picked these up from Hobby Lobby. We're going to be using one of them. And then the last thing, this candle stem holder from the home decor section. We're also going to be using some zip ties, but I'll show those in a little bit. Now we're going to start by taking some wire cutters and we're going to cut off the bottom part of the football form. You can see right here where I'm cutting it. We're going to get rid of that first junction. And now once we've got both of those football forms cut, we're going to take 6 zip ties and we're going to start zip tying these together to create a cage. This is the easiest project and it has such a beautiful farmhouse high-end look. Go ahead by zipping the sides at the bottom and the middle and then 2 at the top. And I like to turn the zip ties in and snip off the extra. That way so it cleans it up and it looks really nice. When it comes to the top, I'm going to leave a little bit of the zip tie ends there because we want to use that as some structure to be able to glue the finial on top of this little bird cage. So go ahead and add some hot glue inside of that finial and then just sneak that right on to the little zip ties at the top. And I'm going to just come back in to reinforce some of that with more hot glue. I'm going to come around and make sure that I'm getting it on the inside of the cage. This is going to make sure it has a nice good lock on there so you can pick it up by that actual finial and it's not going to pop off. Once that glue has completely dried, we're going to go ahead, put it to the side and work on the base. Go ahead and take that galvanized tin. I'm using E6000 and hot glue for a short-term, long-term hold. Find the center point and go ahead and add on that candle stem to the bottom of that metal tray. Once that is glued nice and secure in place, I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray paint the whole thing white, but you can spray paint it whatever color you would like. Now we're going to do a little distressing and I'm going to use this chestnut brown ink pad. Sometimes I don't always want to get out paint and sometimes I just want to do it really quick. So I'm going to use one of these ink pads and I'm just going to tap all along. Using a chestnut brown is a really great one that gives that rustic farmhouse look to it. I feel like after trying a bunch of different ink pads, this is the right color that gets that look. So I'm going to link that ink pad down below. I just picked mine up from Amazon. Go ahead and tap it around and you can see that it's giving a beautiful rust look to it. You could skip this part if you want your project to look less distressed. Now that's the end of the first project and we're going to go on to this other part, which is this little birdhouse. And I wanted to dress up this little birdhouse. First I put some white paint on it and I wanted to show that these little birdhouses can be used in so many cute ways and they're so easy to turn them into something beautiful. So I'm going to use some of this green moss. I'm adding glue all over the entire top of the roof and the sides. And you can see here that I've laid out some moss over to the side. I have found that this is the easiest way to do it. You just take that hot glue on the roof and then just lay it right down in it and pat it around the sides. This is going to lessen the chances of burning your fingers with this stuff. Once you've got that roof completely covered, all around the sides, all around the edging of the roof, I'm now going to just tidy this up really quick. I always have the hardest time moving forward in projects if I don't clean this or the Spanish moss up before I go to the next part. So you're going to see me dusting up really quick. And now I'm going to take my ink pad again and I'm just going to tap around that little birdhouse, giving it some distressing so it goes nicely with the bird cage. Now I'm going to go ahead and just style this up to show you all how cute it can be. You can put whatever you want in here, a candle, some actual little birds, whatever you want. But I'm going to use this little birdhouse to show that these little birdhouses are just so adorable in projects like this, that when they come together, it looks so beautiful for a home. So I'm going to just put the birdhouse in. I'm going to come in with some of that Spanish moss. I'm working it around the sides of the birdhouse, and I'm not gluing it into place because during the fall time I could put a pumpkin in it. During Christmas I could put ornaments in it. So much potential. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in some summer type flowers, some greenery, and at the very bottom I'm going to add a gingham bow. I'm not gluing it into place so I could switch out the bow as I want to throughout the year, but this is for a summer project. And all I have to do left is just zhuzh my bow a little bit and it's ready to be displayed. For this project, we're going to be taking 3 of this galvanized 10 frames, and then one of these long signs. They have a bunch of different shapes cut out on them. So we're going to start by just popping off the back supported leg on the frame and the tag. I mean, technically you don't have to take off the tag because no one's ever going to see that, but I'm going to do it just for a good habit. And then I'm going to add on some E6000 in the corners and come back in with some glue to make sure this is really going to lock on there nice and sturdy. And I'm going to place these 3 frames covering up the star and working my way spacing them out so that the black around the frames are nicely spaced going down the long sign. Once I've got all 3 of them in place and they're nice and glued in and sturdy, I'm going to take a buffalo check or gingham, whichever you want to call it, ribbon, and I'm going to turn that into a bow. Now after adding the bow to it, I felt like it still needed a little bit more zhuzhing, and you're going to see in just a second that I'm going to come back in with some greenery. But first I'm going to add down my bow and get that in place. Once you've got that glued on there, and you don't have to put a bow, you could put some kind of a cute tag down at the bottom if you wanted to. I'm now going to come up to the top. I'm going to take some twine, thread on some of these raw wood beads at the top. I thought this was really pretty, very farmhouse looking, and I'm just going to simply tie that twine into place and tuck the last of that up into the bead so it's all hidden and concealed and looks store-bought versus just crafting. Now I'm going to take some boxwood, and this is where the greenery is going to come in. I'm going to just put 4 little sprigs kind of nestled into each other and then one right in the middle to fill up these spaces in between. There was something about adding this greenery that really gave it a finished, polished look. I could see Kirkland's carrying something like this in their store. Now, again, I can't help myself. I can stop there or I can just go a little bit further. So I'm going to add this star button, which I just think is so cute for summer, especially around July. And then I'm going to add one more button layered on top. I'm so excited to share this project because it is super easy. We're going to take one of these metal trays, which by the way, I bought a ton of these when I first started shopping at the Dollar Tree. I have got to come up with some more DIYs with these. I got some stuff in mind. But we're going to take that tray outside. I'm going to spray paint it a really beautiful light gray color. And now I'm going to take this stencil that I found from Studio R12. I'll link it down below. If you don't have a Cricut, this is a great way to get lettering on projects and make them look super high-end. The trick with stenciling is you want to tap your brush into the paint and then you want to dry off a lot of it. It's almost like dry brushing. Then go ahead and put your stencil on, and you're going to go in circular motions, or you can also tap, whichever one you want to do. And I'm using a rounded brush. I'll link the brush down below too as well that I use. And I'm going to just continue to roll around in circles until I get that to the darkness I want. And the darker you want it to go, you're going to repeat the process with paint. You'll tap it into the paint again, and you'll swirl it off some so that it's not too goopy. That's how you stop and prevent the bleeding. And then you just come back on and keep adding more layers. So once I've got all of my letters done, you can see that I did the word grow. I like to keep the habit of keeping my stencils clean, so I just keep wipies by my desk, and I just make sure I wipe them immediately, and that keeps them nice and fresh and new. Now I'm going to add 2 little buttons on the opposite side of the word grow, and once those are glued in place, I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors, snip down closer to the word because I want it to be more of a thinner strip, and then I'm also going to cut the sides to shorten that as well, and you're going to see why in just a second. But before, I like to distress. This is just drop cloth fabric. I'm going to go ahead and just rough up the side of that just a little bit to make it look a little bit more farmhouse. Now my tray has been nice and dry from sitting out in the garage. I brought it in. That's where I always do all my spray painting, is out in my garage. I'm going to go ahead and take some of this buffalo check gray fabric that I had on hand, and I'm going to pull that nice and tight around the sides of the middle of the tray to the bottom, and I'm going to cut around the back side of that fabric, making sure it's not too bulky in there. I like a good clean finished project, so I always try to make sure whenever I'm working with fabric things look clean and tidy. Once I've got everything all glued into place with that fabric, I'm going to flip it back over, and now I'm going to add on that grow tag. This is going to turn into the cutest project in about 2 seconds. Watch. Let's add on the tag, and now let's start adding in some florals. I had so much fun making this. The biggest use of time was just waiting for the paint to dry, and other than that, this project went so fast. So go ahead and put all of your greenery in, whatever you want. You don't even have to glue it. You could put a piece of foam in there and switch out your greenery that you want throughout the year. And I'm not going to put any hang tags on mine, so I can just prop it up somewhere cute on a shelf. This project is so simple. We're going to take 3 of these darling signs that they had at the Dollar Tree. Now these are super cute, and you can leave them just like this, embellish them, have some fun with them. But I want to make mine my own and make them a little bit more special, take it a little bit further. So we're going to use these 3 little different animal signs, some of these candle short stem wood holders, and then 3 dowel sticks. So go ahead by gently cracking the wood on those animals, and you'll see they'll pop out. As long as you do it really slow, they'll come out really easy. And then now I'm going to take my miter shears, and I'm going to clean up the bottom where their feet are. I'm going to tell you, friends, I'm still on the fence about this tool. I actually was having to press down pretty hard, and honestly, I feel like I can cut things better with a pair of scissors. But I purchased them, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to give them a try. I will say, if we were working with popsicle sticks, this is great for popsicle sticks, but anything thicker than a popsicle stick, I'm still on the fence about this tool. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take those candle wood holders and these dowels, and I'm going to put some hot glue down in there, and I'm going to put a clip to keep it in place and upright. Once the glue was dried, I'm now going to prop the cow up just a little bit. I put an ink pad underneath it so it was the same height as the little wood end that I had there. You want to make sure that they're not tipped crookedly, otherwise it'll dry funny. And I'm going to now add on lots of hot glue to the back of the animal, and then roll the dowel in that hot glue, making sure it's nice and sturdy, glued on there, to turn this into a very farmhouse storefront sign. I think that these are so cute. Having the wooden dowel on there and having it propped up a little bit higher. I love how these turned out. I'm going to take some more black paint. I'm going to paint the back of the animal to clean it up, paint the dowel stick because I really wanted to make sure that it really stands out. And then inside of that candle wood holder, I'm going to add some more glue, and I'm going to take some of this Spanish moss and just tap that all around in there. And now I have the cutest animal signs to display in my home. Friends, it shouldn't take forever to make cute things. Sometimes some projects are worth putting more effort into, but you really can have a beautiful home on a budget with very little time spent. I hope these projects inspire you to give them a try. Leave a comment down below to let me know which one you like and which one you think you will actually try. Please do click the subscribe button if you are new or returning and haven't clicked it yet. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. All right, I'm going to recommend a couple videos here. If you liked this one, you might like one of these. And until the next episode, bye friends.